Hey guys, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel, The College Independent. My name's Camille, and today we're going to be talking about two financial statements, the income statement and the balance sheet. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so here we are with our first statement, the income statement. Now, when we're looking at the income statement, there's two parts. Obviously, the first part is income, and the second part is expenses. So, when you look at income, income is how much money you are bringing in. Typically, people bring in income in through a job, a salary, some type of payment. If you're not working yet, you can also get income through your parents from a monthly allowance. And then there's also like side hustles that people have that they don't have to tell anybody about. That's also income that you're getting in. The second part are expenses. Expenses are how much you're taking out. Expenses can be things such as utility bills, rent, a car note, things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my own personal income statement as an example, and then as we're going throughout the rest of this video, you guys can write on a piece of paper your own personal income statement and balance sheet, all right? Okay, so using myself as an example, for my income, how I'm bringing my money in, I get it through a job, I work. So that's my source of income. And then as far as my expenses go, I have them all listed right here. Now again, while you're doing this at home, just do whatever applies to you. However you get your source of income, you're going to put it in the income section. And then for the lower part, you're going to put whatever expenses you do, you pay. So for me, how I do my income statement is I do it monthly. Now you guys at home, you can do it any way that suits your lifestyle. Some people do an income statement daily, weekly, yearly, whatever works for you and your expenses and is the best way for you to finance them however frequently you need to. But mine is monthly, so my job pays me once a month, and then these expenses typically all come once a month. So when you're looking at the income statement, the goal is to see, is my job or my income covering the expenses that I have? And so when you get to the balance sheet, which is the next part we're going to talk about, you want to have extra money left over from your income after you've paid all your expenses, so that way you can turn it into assets. So the point of an income statement is to look, is my income covering all my expenses? And then after I've paid all my expenses, is there extra income for me to turn that into an asset? Okay, moving on to our next financial statement, the balance sheet. So the balance sheet also has two parts. The first part are assets, and the second part is liabilities. So when we think of assets, assets are what puts money into your pocket. So any type of investment, things like stocks, bonds, dividends, something that accrues interest and you put your money into it, and then in the end it gives you money back. Liabilities, on the other hand, are things that take money out of your pocket. So things like a car loan or a bank loan, mortgage loan, school loans, anything like that that's taking money out of your pocket would be a liability. So give me a couple of minutes and I'll show you what my balance sheet looks like, and then you can do yours at home as well. Okay, so here we are, the second financial statement, the balance sheet. So as you can see, for my assets, I've written nothing because, like I said, assets are something that make money for you, some type of investment, you'll see a return on it. Obviously, for assets, you can put things like your car if you've already paid it off, or your house if it's already paid off. Things like that are an asset, but the way I view it is, if it's something that you still have to put money into, I wouldn't write it down as an asset. So for example, say I did have my car paid off and I put it as an asset. At the end of the day, my car's paid off, but I'm still putting money into it as far as gas and maintenance and things of that nature. And my car is not actually making money for me, not unless I'm going to be like an Uber driver or something. Instead, it's just constantly taking money away from me. So you can put things like that as an asset. However, how I recognize an asset is something that will make money for you. So I've put nothing for my assets. I do plan on investing later on this year, so stay tuned for future videos and we'll see how I'm doing. For my liabilities, I've listed three. My first one is the car loan, second one credit card debt, and the third one is school loans. So I've also rewritten some things from the income statement down here just so you can see how they're interrelated. There's a third concept I want to introduce to you guys. It's called the cash flow. There actually is another financial statement called the cash flow statement, but we're not going to get into that just because that's more so if you're going to go into accounting. But I do want to explain the concept of cash flow to you guys, all right, and as it relates to the balance sheet and income statement. So first of all, cash flow is basically a way of saying how your money is being spent. So is your income going to expenses? Is it going into assets, or is it going into liabilities, okay? So looking at this, like I said, you have an income. My income is my job. Your goal is to have your income cover all of your expenses. And then after your expenses are paid, you want to have income left over so that way you can invest in some assets. And then obviously if you're paying off your expenses, that's going to go ahead and reduce your liabilities. So the goal for cash flow is to have your income flow into your assets. Okay, so you want income to flow into your assets. And then likewise, if you take a look at liabilities and expenses, you can see that my expense, because I do my expenses monthly, my expense is a monthly car note, which is the amount I pay a month for my car. But overall, I have a car loan amount that I still need to pay off. I have a balance due. And same thing for school loans. School loans, there's a monthly payment that I make on my school loans, but overall there's a school loan amount that I have to pay total, okay? So the goal is to have your liabilities flow into your expenses. So you want your overall, credit card debt to be spread out in credit card payments. So income flows into assets, and then liabilities flows into expenses. And then from there, we will move on to our next subject. Okay, so there's some other pointers I wanted to mention before we close here. When we take a look at this balance sheet and income statement, obviously it's not as complete or thorough as you would see in an actual accounting class or things like that. This is just a simple format for you guys to follow in order to budget and finance your money efficiently, effectively. So what I basically wanted you to see is my income covering all of my expenses, and is there extra income at the end of the month that I can turn into an asset for myself to make money for myself? And so basically this is a simple format that I wanted you guys to see and follow, so that way you can do it easily at home by yourself. There's, looking at the income statement, there's other sources of income that you obviously can have, such as, it's tax season right now, so we're all filing for taxes and getting some sort of refund, hopefully. I just got mine actually a couple days ago, so I know I'm happy about that, and you guys at home probably are too, about getting your refund. So that's a type of income that comes in annually rather than monthly. You can include that in your income statement if you wish, but to keep it simple, I would just suggest doing it monthly, so that way you can make sure that you're covering all of your expenses and assets month to month rather than including annual stuff. There are things, looking at the balance sheet, there are things such as short-term assets, long-term assets, short-term liabilities, long-term liabilities. Like I said, those are more for accounting purposes. So if you would want to go more in depth like that for your finances, I would suggest taking some sort of accounting class. But just following this simple layout is, a way just to help see how your finances are going and where you can improve. Okay guys, so just some tips for you before we end. If you're looking for more information about financial statements, or you would like to fill out your financial statement more in depth, I would recommend taking an accounting class. Accounting is honestly probably one of the driest classes you will ever take, but it's really good and vital because it helps you read and understand numbers on financial statements. So if you are looking to become more financially independent, financial savvy, accounting is a really, really good class because you'll be able to look at numbers on financial statements and actually understand what they mean, okay? Another tip, if you aren't the type of person to go to school and being in an educational setting is just not your thing, I completely understand. There's actually some business books I picked up, and one of my favorites is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is really, really great, and it's an easy read. I read the first couple chapters on a bus ride to London, so you'll probably finish it in no time at all, reading it in between classes or whatever. It's a really good read because he puts into an easy to understand perspective the differences between the rich class, the middle class, and the poor class. He puts it in a way that's easy for all of us to relate to and understand. Also, there were some things in the book. He does talk about the financial statements as well, and I did take some of his formatting for our lesson today. So if you're not interested in taking an accounting class, but you still would like more information about the different classes and between rich, middle class, and poor, and then also just, a business book to read, this would definitely be one that I recommend. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that first lesson. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop a comment below and let me know. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Thank you.